Hi, my name is Grayson Yaden. I'm a sophomore at Northern Kentucky University. I'm 20 years old and I recently studied abroad to France, and one of the main reasons I did it was because I had a French pen pal in high school. In 2012 I got a Facebook notification from a girl named Pascaline Fournier, and she was my pen pal. I was a freshman at the time and we really connected. We wrote letters to each other, because that was part of the grade for the class, was writing letters to our pen pal. And then we also Snapchatted, we Facebook messaged almost every day while I was in high school, and in my senior year I actually got to go over to France for the first time, and we planned to meet. We were a 5-minute car ride away from each other in Paris, and I couldn't find connection, and we ended up not meeting, and it honestly broke my heart. We kind of lost touch after I went to college, and I kind of got back in touch with her after I learned of this opportunity to go to France again. She lives about an hour outside of Paris, and obviously I'll be there again. I told her, she said she'd try. I told her, I'm making this documentary on pen pals, and obviously it's inspired by you and our relationship I had in high school with her. And about a week before I left, she said she couldn't go because of family stuff, and it felt like I was in high school all over again, getting my heart broken. I started this documentary at first to learn more about pen pals and kind of how it started and kind of the experience of other people, but it really turned into learning how we see the world and how other people can affect how we see the world if we do have a personal connection to another culture, rather than just going over there to their country and seeing all the touristy things and all the sights to see. I got the opportunity to go back to my old high school, Lincoln County High School in Stanford, Kentucky, to reach out and interview my old high school French teacher, Miss Mannion, and she has a student actually right now who's a Lincoln County junior, who has a pen pal that is coming to the United States from France, and this is what they both had to say about their pen pal experience.
Alright, I am Madame Mannion, or Aggie Mannion. I'm the French teacher at Lincoln County High School, and I've been here for 7 years now, and before that I taught at UK for 2 years.
My name is Sam, and I am 16 years old.
Through my high school French teacher, Madame Shabalski, she put me in touch with Julie, who's still my friend now, even though it's been about 17 years that we've been pen pals.
I got it through Miss Mannion on freshman year for French 1, whenever she first gave them to us, and she just kind of kept staying with me through social media, and we didn't lose contact.
We're actually kind of polar opposites, because she loves everything about the United States. She thinks it's so cool. She likes big SUVs and reality TV, and I'm kind of the opposite. I like a lot of the things about France that are not here. I don't like reality TV, I don't like giant SUVs, and I like a lot of the things that I consider a lot more French. So we kind of are opposites, but we offer each other the opportunity to get to know each other's culture, which is cool. And now she is married and has a baby and lives in Italy, so I've known her from when she was a high schooler with posters of French pop stars on her walls to now where she's a mother. She teaches English to business people in Italy, so she still teaches English. She teaches French on the side, but she's also fluent in Italian and is raising her daughter Rose with her husband Marco in Italy.
Her name is Irina da Silva. She has a Russian name, and she lives up in northern France. I can't tell you exactly where. She's young, she's really young. She just turned 13, almost 14. And whenever I talked to her over the summer, we didn't stop talking. So we're kind of really, not best friends, but we're close.
The first time there was mostly confusion. I spent an entire afternoon listening to a story while we walked around a park, thinking when I get home I have to look at my little paper dictionary for what grenouille is, and it turned out she'd been talking about frogs the whole walk around the park, but I had no idea what that word was, so it was a lot of confusion. Her mother screaming the word pat at me when she wanted to know if I liked pasta for dinner, and me crying because this woman just kept screaming pat, pat at me, and I didn't know what pats were, so it was just a lot of confusion.
Now in French too, I can actually get more understanding of what's happening. So whenever she talks about the weather or something, I can tell her that I know how that is, and when she talks about the holidays now, like Chandeleur, Irina celebrates that thing, so I can tell her I already know that stuff, and so I'm not falling behind in French class.
I think that the world right now just needs people to understand each other, both within a country and between countries, and the best way to understand a place is to understand the people in that place. So if another place seems really odd or foreign to you, if you can know a person from that area, you can better understand why they do things differently, and you can learn that it is not good or bad, right or wrong, normal or weird, that we all just do things differently. And so I think having a pen pal makes it feel human and real to you, that there's someone just like you in another country who's doing the same things, just in a different language.
Because of her and how she helps me excel in language, which is the only thing I really excel at here in high school, my career has changed from the medical pathway to wanting to become a foreign language teacher.
I got the opportunity to meet the teacher of the class that my pen pal was in and that my class in high school was paired with. Her name was Frederique, and I got to interview her and her friend Michael. They both teach English in a middle school in Caen, France, in the Normandy region, and here's what they had to say about their pen pal experience, both as teachers and when they were students.
She lived in Detroit, and I was supposed to go there one summer, but my parents didn't have any money to send me there, so I didn't go. And then I think she was a bit angry or probably disappointed, so I didn't go, and then we stopped exchanging, writing to each other.
It was British. It was from Exeter, England, all right? And it was a long time ago.
To know about the music she was listening to, the culture, anything, and that was nice. That was a pretty nice year. And in the end, I was supposed to go and meet with her.
He invited me again, like 6 months after, for Christmas. So we kept on seeing each other. Then he came to France to study, and he called me up one day and he said, well, I'm in Caen, so can we see each other? And it'd been like 4 or 5 years since I'd last seen him.
I know I will have to shout, but I'm really conscious of the benefits that having a pen pal is. That's just exchanging, discovering a new culture.
I changed school, and so there were communications with Canadian kids, and the year previous they would send letters in English for the French students, and then the year that I studied there, my French students had to write in French.
My students come from all over Europe, let's say, and from the north of Africa, so they're not that open-minded. And discovering something different, discovering that a lot of cultures exist all around us and them would be so enriching.
A language reflects culture, so you can just learn it by visiting museums, but I don't think that's how it lives, you know?
I mean, I'm just thinking about my students. They hardly travel. They have never been elsewhere. They were born in Caen, staying in Caen, will probably study in Caen and will never move. So we try to make them discover. That's why English teachers are quite important, like Spanish teachers and German teachers, to make them discover other ways of living, other customs, other menus, food, other histories, because we are completely aware of the importance of teaching those differences.
And we don't do it as much as we could do in France, I think. It's very difficult. We go over to England because it's closer to us than America. But I think, yeah, we should do it more.
And having someone of your age is even more important because you can have conversations that are more concrete. You can share on social media stuff, on common passions and common interests, which we teachers can't really teach, I would say, because we're older.
I asked 10 NKU students why they thought it was more important to connect with a culture on a personal level rather than a tourist level. I got a lot of great responses, and here's what they had to say.
Without engaging with other cultures, it is impossible to understand their personal struggles and other like social issues that other cultures can experience.
Until you sit down, actually talk to one individual person and gain their insight, gain their perspective, and realize how much of a human they are, realize that how similar you are to them, and truly understand that you're their brother or their sister in the human family, that's when you really gain their perspective and really gain a better insight into their life.
If you don't know a lot about that culture, I think you may have some myths, but if you have people there, you'll have a lot of information about that culture.
If you Google any type of destination, it's going to be the same few sites that come up or the same few concepts about a culture, when that is missing obviously really, really large pieces of what makes that culture different from, yours or from mine. And so I think it's really, really important to have someone who has a holistic view instead of doing your own research and having that limited perspective.
Empathy is really important. Understanding where someone comes from and being able to see it through their eyes is really important to understanding how the world works.
You become more open-minded and not so secluded in your own culture, and that makes you more susceptible to being able to try new things and be able to learn and just really put yourself in a new environment. That way you don't become richer, what's the word I'm looking for, physically, but more so like spiritually and mentally, because there's more to the world than just your little corner.
A lot of the times we learn about our own history through textbooks and we don't realize the impacts. And so it'd be the same for if we even learned it about over there, but a lot of times we don't learn about other cultures and countries. And even if we did learn it, then it would probably be washed out and we wouldn't realize the impacts that it has on the people and what they do and how they act.
I think first of all, talking to people firsthand, you get to hear their experiences. It's one thing to walk around and kind of take your own perspective, but to take the time to talk to someone who's been from there, knows the culture, and can explain that to you, I think is a different way to get involved in the culture and make connections. That's more than just going into a store and buying something, for sure.
So the key to not being ignorant. Like, until you experience someone else's culture, the way they live, or who they really are, you can't really judge them. Even after that, you shouldn't really judge them, but I think it really helps you to get a new perspective on the world and be a better person in general. Most of the people I've met, from international students to just people here from different areas, it really gives you a better understanding of why people are the way they are, or where they come from, and their roots and everything. So I think it's a key to being a good person, I think.
Like a tourist, like you don't really, like you see what they want you to see, whereas like when you connect with people, like you kind of see like what they see like through their eyes more so than like the tourist shops and stuff like that. I don't know, like when you take like a tour that's like set and made for tourists, it's like only highlights, when like sometimes like the overall experience is getting to see like the highs and the lows.
Having a pen pal in high school from another country changed my life and made me rethink where my place in the world was. It made me rethink my culture and what we do. It made me learn about another culture, and it made me really experience the world on a global level and instead of just in my little American bubble. It's so important now more than ever to explore other cultures and to really seek out understanding from people who are a lot more different than us.